Albert Einstein said the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. Compound interest can make you a multi-millionaire with just little bits of money if you start early enough. The problem is less than half of Americans in their 20s and 30s haven't even invested in the stock market, and that's because they just don't know how. And that's what we're going to cover today, okay? We are going to go through the basics of investing, what accounts you need to set up, what you should buy, how much you should buy, and what it can turn into. My goal is that in the next 10 minutes, you go from knowing absolutely nothing or very little to having a brokerage account open and money inside the stock market. It's really not that hard. It just takes a couple minutes to learn what you're doing, and that's exactly what we're going to go through. Step one, before we even get to investing though, you have to have your finances in order. I see way too many people putting money in a 401k or inside of a brokerage account when they are strapped with debt and have credit card debt. You will never out-invest consumer debt. Make sure that your finances in order, make sure that you've budgeted, make sure you have a survival fund. And once you start to get on your feet, that's where we're going to take off and run with this, because that is the point at which you can start your investing career. So the first step that you need to do is you have to open up an account to invest in. I'm going to talk through a couple different types of accounts, but we're going to use a Roth IRA probably to go through the rest of the example. A Roth IRA is probably the best catch-all account for the majority of Americans. The reason is because you put tax dollars in, but those dollars grow untaxed and you can withdraw it untaxed at the time of retirement. It makes it a phenomenal investment vehicle for a lot of different people. So Roth IRA is probably my first choice. That's the one I would do. The next one that we'll talk about is traditional IRA. If you make over $150,000 a year, you actually can't invest in a Roth IRA. You have to do a traditional IRA. Same exact process. Nothing's going to change for the rest of the video, but just know that if you make a little bit too much, you may phase out of it. The next one that we're going to talk about, a brokerage account. A brokerage account is not a tax advantaged account. It's you opening up an account with a brokerage, a stock brokerage, but it doesn't have any tax deferral, meaning you put dollars in that are taxed, you withdraw them, and you have to pay capital gains tax. There's no advantages to a brokerage account, but it does have complete freedom and complete liquidity. You can put money into it and you can pull money out of it whenever you want without having to wait for retirement or do anything else. It's complete flexibility. I'm just going to list a couple of others. If none of these resonate with you and you want to go research some more, a 401k is probably the most used account. The problem is you usually can't control the investments there. I don't love them. HSAs are really good. 529 plans. There's a lot of different accounts out there, but in my opinion, you should either be doing a Roth IRA or a brokerage account are probably the most common, best ones to start your investing career with. So the first thing that you need to decide is where are you going to open up these accounts, okay? Click the link down below. I linked one of my favorite. It's SoFi. SoFi is a massive company to do a lot of different things. One of my favorite use cases for them is actually their investing side. So yes, there's apps like Robinhood and there's Vanguard and Fidelity, Charles Schwab, all these different, okay? I've used a lot of them. The reason I like SoFi is I feel like it's a really good balance between the tech forwardness of Robinhood, but the traditional fee structure and how good Charles Schwab, Vanguard, all those are. You can click the link down below. That's the one that I'm going to use for examples here just for simplicity, but you can choose whoever you want. The important part is that you find a very low fee brokerage account. Once you choose where you're going to set it up, you're going to go through the application process. This application process is really, really simple. It's going to be like any other financial institution you sign up with, and you're going to put in some of this information. Take the time, just sign up now, but that's the first thing you're going to do. The next step that the platform is likely going to give you is it's going to give you a bunch of disclosures, read through them, sign it, stuff like that. Step number 3 is they're going to ask you to link your bank account. This is how you get money into the actual brokerage. You're going to link your bank account and then you can deposit whatever money you want inside of SoFi Investing, and that's what you're going to buy your stocks with. The important part, just get money in there, do it on a regular basis. I don't care if it's $25, $50, something like that. Just make it a regular reoccurring thing. So a portion of every single paycheck is going in there, and this is when you're going to set it up. Now, once your money's inside this account, it acts a lot like a savings account. Just because you put money into one of these brokerage accounts, it is not invested. I see way too many people be like, oh, I put my money in Vanguard, I'm good to go. Basically, all you did was put it inside of a savings account. It didn't actually invest it. Once the money's in, you have to choose your investment. And this is the part where people get paralyzed because they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, what do I invest in? Do I invest in NVIDIA? I heard that was cool. Or Tesla or Facebook or Meta or Google. There's a lot of choices when you get on here. And this is where my advice is going to come tried and true. Do whatever you want, invest at your own risk. But the way I approach this, I have done it all. I have day traded stocks, I have swing traded stocks, I have day traded crypto, I have swing traded crypto. And while yes, there are day traders that can make a lot of money, any good day trader that can actually create a living doing it will tell you it will take you 2 to 3 years of every single day actually learning how to understand technical analysis where you can do it. Do not do that. It is a waste of time for the vast majority of you. Make sure you are trading on fundamentals, or even better, diversify so that it doesn't matter. I personally do not own any single stocks right now. I just don't do it. And so what I do is I I buy mutual funds and ETFs. Take yourself back to sophomore year in high school when you were studying statistics. If the stock market as a whole over the last 100 years has gone up 10%, if you chose one stock and you said, I'm going to invest all my money in this one stock, statistically, there's actually a wide variance where you could get negative 20% return and you could get a 200% return. If you do two stocks, your range might be a negative 10 to an 80% return. The larger and larger your sample size gets, the more and more fine-tuned your return gets. Eventually, you get to the point, if you have enough stocks, where you can pretty good predict what your returns are going to be, and that's called diversification, and that's why we do ETFs. This is called passive investing. This is what I do. It's what a lot of my buddies do. Yes, if you want to dedicate time to learning to day trade and stuff, you can try, but the vast majority of people can't do it. Diversification across a large sector is statistically the best place to get the most consistent returns. So do some research. There's a lot of different ETFs out there. Majority of my money personally is in VOO and VTI. I really like them. QQQ is a really good one. I think it's SCHD is another really good one. There's a lot of great ETFs out there, but diversification through a low cost exchange traded fund or ETF, in my opinion, is the best way to invest as a beginner. So you've chosen where you're going to invest, you've set up your account, you now know what you're investing in. Now how you actually do it. It's really, really simple. Your money's in the account, you choose the ETF that you're going to purchase. Okay, let's say it's VOO. You're going to type in VOO in the search bar, it's going to pull up, you're just going to hit the buy button, and it's going to ask you how much you want to buy. Most platforms will be like a max button. You can just hit all $100 and it will just buy whatever portion is that is, 1.2 shares of the S&P 500 or VOO. Once it does that, you now own shares inside of that ETF and you have now invested inside the stock market. Congratulations. Once you've done this, I think a big key to investing is automating these investments. It's called dollar cost averaging. A lot of people will try to predict when the stock market is going to go down or up, especially the last couple months. We've had political tensions, wars, elections, a lot of different stuff going on. And so a lot of people are trying to predict what's going to happen to the stock market. Once again, statistics are not on your side if you're trying to do that. The best way is called dollar cost averaging. You set a reoccurring investment that you never deviate from, and you get to set that. If that's every paycheck, let's say you get paid every other week. If that's once a month, even if that's once a year, I don't care so long as it's set up and it never changes. And over the course of the next 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to invest the exact same way every single time. This is going to lead you to, yes, buying sometimes at high, but also buying sometimes at really low. It's going to create a system where you invest basically in the middle ground. You don't time the market poorly or great, but it's going to give you a really good entry point because you averaged it out over the long haul. If you have a plan to invest $200 this month, do it on the 1st when your paycheck comes in, not on the 30th with whatever's left. Pay yourself first, automate it, put it into ETFs, and then set it and forget it. Over the course of 10, 20, 30, 40 years, just like Einstein said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. That will turn into millions and millions of dollars. I think the stat is 79% of millionaires are self-made, and the vast majority of them are what we call millionaires next door. They're not living flashy lifestyles. They're not the ones that you see on social media driving these really nice cars and these business owners. There are people that have done the tried and true way of investing. They have a steady career that they live within their means. They invest on a regular basis, and they buy a home and it turns them into a multimillionaire. There's two ways to do it. You can invest and start businesses and grow immense amounts of wealth, or you can take the slow and steady approach. In my opinion, you should actually do both. A combination of slow and steady while also investing in yourself and trying to raise your earning income is the best way to grow that net worth, but you just got to take baby steps. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure to comment down below if it was, subscribe as always, and come back next week for another way to grow your net worth.